I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about positive consequences versus bribes. In this video, we're going to be talking about bribes and how to recognize if you're bribing your children. We're also going to be talking about positive consequences and what to do to teach your children to accept positive consequences instead of bribes. So people usually know that bribing another person is not the very best way to communicate with them, but it's just so tempting sometimes, right? Sometimes you're in the market with your child and they start crying about something that they can't have because they're not accepting a no answer, which is a skill that you can learn on this channel. Wink, wink. Anyway, but then we start thinking, okay, what am I going to do to stop this? We're disrupting other shoppers. I don't want this to happen. So you start thinking, okay, if you choose to calm down, if you choose to be happy, then we will get you a treat. How many times do parents do that one while raising children? Lots. It's because it's so tempting to do it. As soon as the negative behavior starts, the parent wants to curb the negative behavior as quickly as possible. So they start thinking of a positive way to get the child to stop doing that negative thing. Because it is more work for the parent to go through a correction, especially because sometimes the child does not want to accept a correction. And so then they might start to spiral out of control, and then the parent will have to now correct and work through that experience with the child. And nobody wants to do that at a family party, a work party, or in the middle of a supermarket. There is a way to not have to bribe the children. Because when you bribe your children, you're actually teaching them that the misbehavior was a good thing. You're saying, when you misbehave, I will promise you a treat. See, before that, if they were to just be good, you would never bring up a treat, right? And so they know that if they misbehave first, you'll promise them a treat for good behavior, and then they can just change and get any kind of treat that they want. It puts them in control. It's a type of power struggling and manipulation, and it can become a habit for a child. Sometimes children aren't cognitively aware that they are misbehaving in order to get the parents to bribe them. But if it's happened enough times, it definitely can become a habit. So what's the difference then between a bribe and a positive consequence? Well, if you subscribe to this channel already, then you know that when I talk about teaching children self-government, I talk about positive consequences and negative consequences, and the importance of having both of those things in your family economy so that you can be effective at teaching your children. This book here, Parenting a House United, teaches all about family economy and how to set up good positive consequences and good negative consequences. So let's talk about good positive consequences. If you're going to set up a positive consequence or something to motivate good behavior in your children, then it does need to be set up ahead of time. For something to be a positive consequence, usually the parent needs to be more proactive. Obviously, there are some spontaneous positive consequences that can occur. Sometimes there are natural positive consequences that you can bring to your child's attention, such as when you told a joke, I laughed. That might be a positive consequence that is natural. But when a person is, say, trying to fix store behavior, the way to bring in a positive consequence is to do it before we actually start shopping. So maybe you're in the car, maybe you're just getting out of the car at the store. You would do what I call a pre-teach to your child. That means you would tell them ahead of time what's coming up and what choices they have so that they know what to expect no matter what it is they choose. So you would say, we are going to the store right now. Now, when we are in the store, we need to be following instructions and accepting no answers, disagreeing appropriately, because those are 3 of our 4 basic skills of self-government. If you choose to follow instructions and to accept no answers and disagree appropriately, that will make a really fun shopping trip. We'll enjoy it, and it will probably make it so that we get out of the store faster. If you choose to stay calm the whole time, then at the very end of our shopping trip, you can pick a treat from the bakery. Perfect. Now they get the treat. They didn't have to act out to get the treat because it was set up ahead of time. That's a positive consequence. So then, if you're in the store and the child starts to act up, you move into your correction skill, and of course, they're not going to earn that positive consequence, which means that they now have a negative consequence to accept. Now, they could go completely out of instructional control because they're not going to get their treat. You need to be prepared for that too, but in the TSG parenting course, we talk about all of those different skills so you can learn those things and be prepared for those moments. When you're doing your pre-teach, you want to tell them, if you do this good thing, here's the good that will happen. But if you do this bad thing, then here's the bad that will happen. So then you say, if you choose not to follow instruction and accept no answers, then no problem. We'll just do a correction in the store, and you will earn an extra chore like you usually do, but you will also not get the opportunity to stop at the bakery and have the treat. So remember that, because that's only a positive consequence for if you choose to use your skills when we're shopping in the store. So now the child is totally prepared. At that point, you might also say to them, okay, so tell me, what are the steps to following instructions so that I know that you're ready? What are the steps to accepting a no answer or disagreeing appropriately? How do you think you might use those things in the store? Okay, you've got this. I think you're going to be completely ready. So you praise them about it, and then here we go onto our store trip. If you prep them in their brain to remember what's coming up and to prepare for those circumstances, they're much more likely to succeed. In order to make positive consequences effective, and to let the child know that they get to choose the positive or negative, which is part of learning self-government, you usually have to have a conversation with the child before you are expecting them to follow through with some skill that they know. However, there are some situations where positive consequences can be identified even if they weren't discussed at first. So sometimes having some feedback at the end of doing something positive is a way to also show positive consequence. I'm talking about a 3-step praise. A good, effective praise has 3 steps to it. And again, that's also something that's discussed in the TSG parenting course. You do a description, a rationale, and then a positive motivation statement. When you're praising your child, you're actually teaching them this praise is a positive consequence of the positive behavior that you just had. So you're teaching them cause and effect, which is vital to them learning self-government. Now, there is something that I like to do sometimes with my children and my grandchildren. I like to surprise them with positive consequences that they didn't know about. Now, this is totally the opposite of bribing. So when someone is going out of control and you offer them something good to get in control, that's bribing. But when somebody does something good and you just spontaneously offer them something good after that because it's just a positive consequence that you want to give, that teaches them even more that there are unexpected positive consequences for all of our good decisions in life. So what might that look like? Well, the other day I was with my granddaughter, and she was so polite and sweet when I took her to the store with me. And after that, when I got in the car, I said to her, "You were so good at the store. How about we go for an ice cream right now? Because Grandma wants to give you a positive consequence for using all of your skills and being so happy at the store." Whoa, she had no idea that was coming. How special is that? Or for a parent to suddenly just pull out of their pocket a dollar bill or give their child a treat when they weren't expecting one. That makes a big difference for a child. Positive consequences can improve negative behavior by increasing positive behavior. Sometimes having positive consequences is actually more effective than focusing on the negative consequences. In fact, most of the time it is. Most parents spend the majority of their time focused on negative consequences, or don't do the bad thing, don't do the bad thing, don't do the bad thing, and this is why they fall into bribing. If we focus instead on the positive consequences and setting those up ahead of time, teaching our children, when I give you a high five, that's a positive consequence. When I give you an awesome praise, that's a positive consequence. When I tell you that you get more time to read your book or play your game, That's a positive consequence. There are lots of positive consequences. When we identify those things to our children, then they can notice the good things that happen because of their good behaviors and not just be focused on the negative. This should lead to them actually choosing positive consequences instead of waiting to be bribed. Now, we have just scratched the surface of learning self-government in this video. So there is another video that I highly recommend that you watch next. It will go into a lot more detail about some of the skills that I have mentioned here. That video is called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video now. I'll see you there.